Call the meeting of the North Little Rock Planning Commission to order. If you will, please call the roll.
Banks.
Present.
Blasco.
Here.
Chambers.
I'm here.
Foster.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
Pierce. Wallace. White. And Chairman Clifton.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you. I would like to remind you, if you have your cell phones with you, please mute them, turn them down to silent. We have quite a few items under administrative. We have some items that have been postponed and some items that have been withdrawn. I will read them out, and if you are here on those particular items, they will not be heard today. You may stay with us. We'd love to have you, or you may be excused to leave. Our first one that is postponed today is the Willow Beach area rezoning. All those have been postponed, and it will not be heard today. If you're here for the 1701, 1705 Moss Street file, they will not be heard today. That has been withdrawn. They would have to refile to bring it back again. If you're here for 920 North Popular Street, that file has been withdrawn, and it would have to be refiled again to be brought up again. Case number 16, a rezoning from C6 to a PUD to allow a satellite parking lot for the hotel at 201 East Broadway and 503 Olive Street has been withdrawn. That will not be heard today. The applicant would have to refile again. Item number 17, the subdivision for the Lot 7R, Block 33 replat and site plan review for a parking lot to serve as a hotel at 201 East Broadway and 503 Olive Street has been withdrawn, will not be heard today. Item number 21 at 3820 Lookout Road has been postponed until a later date. Item number 24 at 815 East Broadway has been postponed. That will not be heard today. Item number 26, 4104 East Broadway Street has been postponed. That will not be heard. If you are here for any of those items, they will not be heard today. You may be excused, or you would be welcome to stay with us. We'll move right into the rest of our agenda today. Next is the approval of the minutes.
Move for approval.
Motion made and seconded to be approved as submitted. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Planning Commission, item number 2 is subdivision regulation.
We're going to move 20 to the top.
I'm sorry, yes. We have been requested due to a conflict of interest. A man has a flight to fly out. We're going to accommodate that. Item number 20 on your agenda would be the site plan review for the Tulip Farms, Lot 3, and the final plat for a new trucking warehouse facility at 13701 Highway 70. Is the applicant or representative here? Yes, come up and give us your name for the record, please.
Stan Richards, R&L Carriers, 600 Gillum Road, Wilmington, Ohio, 45177.
Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Chambers, go right ahead.
Not to steal your thunder, Mr. Chairman. The referenced item was considered by the Design Review Committee, and the applicant agreed to items 1 through 12 in subsections, and the Design Review Committee recommends approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. This application be approved as submitted. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you for accommodating.
See Mr. Spencer, and he can tell you what you might do next. Thank you. We'll go back to our agenda now. Item number 2, subdivision. Mr. Chambers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Design Review Committee met and considered item SD 2024-44 Jenkins Addition, Lot 1, preliminary plat at 2304 Young Road. Applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 10 in subsections, and the Design Review Committee recommends approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. This application be approved as submitted. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this application? Any comments from the commissioners? Are you wanting to speak? Okay, yes, ma'am. Give us your name for the record.
My name is Bernadette Conley. I grew up in the Glenview area. I moved away and I came back. Our neighborhood has, well, there's a lot of more members want to be here, but because of the time they couldn't. But we're asking that they do not do this rezoning on that lot. We already are surrounded by Tenenbaum, the trucking companies, Johnson Equipment, and many storages, and it says for future development, so nobody knows what that future development is. So I got a list of things that can go on that lot once it's rezoned. And right now, really, we call Glenview Little Mayberry. And we just don't see where even in the future that this would benefit our neighborhood. We're looking at the traffic. Our traffic on Highway 161 has already backed up. We don't know where that traffic is coming from. But we're just asking for a no on that rezoning because the fact that nobody knows what's going on it, and if it's sold, the seller doesn't know what the new owner is gonna put on it. But according to this is just not something we wanna see in our neighborhood. We wanna remain quiet. We wanna keep the foot traffic, to a level. Like I said, I am a second generation. My daughter is a third. Glenview is a neighborhood where just about everybody that did move away has come back. So we
Chairman
want to
Clifton,
preserve
ma'am,
the neighborhood.
I hate to interrupt you. This isn't the rezone.
Ma'am,
Okay.
I was letting her get her say in.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Ma'am, this is for the site plan review of the plat. This is not for a rezoning.
For the Bethany and Young.
Ma'am, yes, ma'am,
Bethany
that
and Young.
is correct. But we did
The
afford
next
you-
item is,
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other comments on the application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? On the application as presented, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item number 3, a rezone case from R1 to I2 to allow a future development at the site of 2304 Young Road. You have spoken on that just a few minutes before. Do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
No, I will yield to Mr. Dodson.
Okay, very good. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Dodson. I live at 5109 North Woodland. And I would just like to say, I would really like to know just what the plan is for this place, because I don't think it's fair that somebody can come up and just say they want to rezone in this and we not know what's coming in our neighborhood. On that corner, we already have problems with flooding. The city came out and they worked on it. They didn't fix it. And now it floods out worse now than it did before they ever came out there. And if you come in putting any industrial anything out there, you pouring concrete. And one thing we know, concrete is not fixing to soak that water up. So now that water is running right back in our backyards. And it's just, I don't think it's fair to be able to come here and say, I just want to rezone and not let us know anything. When I was adding an addition on my house on the front porch, I had to show a drawing, let everybody know exactly what I was doing before I could get a permit. And so to have this rezoned just by saying I want it to be industrial, and we who's living there having to deal with stuff already, just have that thrown in our backyard and not be able to make any decisions on it. I just don't think it's fair. If somebody would come, because it makes it feel like you're being bamboozled. You know, we're gonna just say, okay, now we're gonna say it's just for future uses. We get our rezoning, then they throw a biohazard something in our backyard and we don't have a right to say anything about it. So it would be, I would be more than happy to sit down with anybody to hear what that plan is, because I just cannot believe something haven't been said or some plan haven't been drawn up or idea as to what that's going back there and just throwing it at us like that. So,
Okay.
I mean, it's not that I'm just gonna say, oh, no, 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 but I would just like to know what's coming in my neighborhood. And like I said, we're already dealing with flooding. We've heard service station, we've heard this, that, and the third. We're dealing with homeless already up the street, so we're not needing that stuff to pull more problems into our neighborhood.
Okay.
So, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Chambers, you want to weigh in on that?
Yes, sir. A question for staff. Did we do that out of order? We approved the preliminary plat first, and now we're hearing the rezoning. Is that the correct order?
In this case, there's no site plan review.
Okay,
So,
got it.
So it didn't really matter which order they went in, since there's no site plan review.
A plat's a plat.
A plat's a plat, and we can't say no to.
Correct,
It meets,
plat.
yeah, it meets the requirement. So
Yes.
it's, if they don't want to record it, they don't have to record
I
it.
just wanted to respond to the gentleman that just spoke. In terms of flooding, okay, the city, we've addressed this piece of land for the last 20 years, I know. The city engineer is really aware that this area floods. And one of the things that we did when we approved the plat is that stormwater detention is required. And what that means is the water that's flowing off that piece of land today cannot increase. It has to be held on that property and slowly metered out after it stops raining. So that's one small thing in your favor, is that whatever's done to this property will not be increased. And what I heard you say in your remarks, and both of you, is that you consider this to be speculative zoning. Rezone this for us so we can make some money on it, and then whatever happens, happens. So maybe it's in order to hear from the applicant as to what he would like to do, and we can work from there.
Is the applicant in here today? Yes, sir. Give us your name for the record and give us any information you have on the property.
Nick Tucker, Tucker Land Surveying, just the agent on behalf of the applicant, who is here, Steve Jenkins. The intent of this piece of property, Mr. Jenkins does own 6 parcels of property right here, was to replat them into one parcel and then have contiguous zoning that matches the property to the east and to the south and north. And so Mr. Jenkins would like to address the comments and concerns of the previous speakers.
Yes, thank you for giving me a minute to speak. We have
Give us
6.
your name for the record.
I'm sorry,
please.
Steve Jenkins with JWJ Investments. We own quite a bit of property down Bethany Road on both sides, and we've had this property for many years. Early last year, when I got my property tax bills, there were 6 bills addressing each of these little small 50-foot wide residential lots that really face Bethany. It says Young Road, but that's the corner part. All of these properties face Bethany, and everything going down Bethany is currently zoned industrial. We don't have any plans other than just to clean up this plot of land. One of the things that we are aware of, we've been in this property since 1983 on Bethany Road, and these folks are 100% right. There's a lot of drainage issues, a lot of industrial stuff going on down there. And we're aware that when the time comes that we do have plans to do something on that property, curb, gutter, street lights, fire hydrants, all of that has to be done. But we don't know what's potentially going to go in there. I've owned that property for 83, I don't know how many years that is, but it's a lot. And we hope that by making this one contiguous piece of property, that will be the beginning point of where something may come in. But we don't know what that is right now, but we are aware that when that comes in, that'll be the appropriate time to address the concerns of curbs, gutters, street lights, drainage, and fix a lot of the problems that are going on Bethany Road that they're 100% right about. So we hope that this will be the first step in improving that area.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Chambers?
Yes, sir. So in response to my comment regarding speculation, it's not so much land speculation as consolidation.
That's exactly
Okay.
right.
I only have a little small map here that shows I-2 along Bethany and some I-1 behind it. Do you own both I-1 and I-2? I-1's very large.
From Young Road all the way down to the Family Dollar store is our property.
Okay, but you don't necessarily own the back edge, you own the frontage?
I think Mr. Shirley with McCain Trading owns the back property.
Okay, got it, okay. Well, I was going to just comment that it may behoove you when you do develop to do maybe with Mr. Shirley, a regional detention. That way everybody benefits with minimum loss of land.
Absolutely. Good
Anyway,
point.
also, when you do have uses, just to help us out, please contact the neighborhood and tell them what's going in.
Absolutely, you bet.
Thank you.
Ms. Foster?
Yes, let me ask you a question. I noticed in the information that staff develops for us prior to these meetings, it indicates that you had indicated the staff, the property would be developed in a similar nature as other manors and, other property in the neighborhood. And then it says, for instance, office, warehouse kind of facilities. Is that still your intent, or?
That would be our intent, more than likely. There is some need for the opportunity for vehicles to get in and out of the buildings. We just rented the property across the street to AT&T, and they needed to be able to get trucks and service trucks in. So theirs is not as much a office warehouse, but there's a dire need in North Little Rock for warehouse space. So I suspect that would be probably what it would be more like. Something what you would see like at, what's the area down on North Hills Boulevard that's on the south side?
Crossroads.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, exactly.
Thank you. Staff, what other uses are allowed in I-2? It's kind of like
There's a lot, no, I-1 would be the light industrial, so this would be, it's not going to be the toxic. I-3 will be the concrete plants and the rendering plants and, the toxic, any chemicals or ammunition or that type of stuff. So it's in the middle there, but the list would be 2 or 3 pages, so.
Okay.
But it's not the extreme toxic uses, and it's not just like an office, so it's somewhere in between there.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Chambers?
It just occurred to me, looking at the way the land's on the corner, and this is one of the entrances to a residential area, if when you developed it, you were kind to the residential area and avoided entrances off of Young Road and maybe put in some street trees or something to make the entrance into their subdivision more delightful, I think that would go a long way to mitigating the development of the property.
Absolutely, and I think we would ultimately like to see most of the entry coming in off of Bethany and not even on Young Road.
Okay.
Okay. Any other comments? So does this alleviate some of your problems and answer some of the questions you have about this?
Kind of, in a sense, but.
Please come forward.
What I heard what he said. Already on Bethany Road, we have Tenenbaum. So we're having to put up with nails already, your tires. I had to chase a truck down that dropped a whole washer on Bethany Road and kept going. So our thing is, even if it's facing 161, if you do a study on 161, now our traffic is getting bad on 161. We don't know where that traffic is coming from, but it's bumper to bumper. So even if they came in off of Bethany Road, it's only gonna cause more congestion. So that was my next thing to write and say, somebody do a study, because we've never had traffic like that on 161 the way we have it now. But even if it faces Bethany Road, I still think it's gonna be a problem, because like you said, when you build up whatever concrete you do, if the city don't fix that real drainage, you're still gonna have a drainage problem. And I'm looking at the fact, I'm 64 years old, so if his future use is 10 years down the line and he brings something in, then we gotta deal with that. I just don't see, we have enough businesses on Bethany Road that doesn't even benefit the neighborhood. We didn't know when they came in or what they were. We got stuck with every business that's on Bethany Road. Tenenbaum, we got a trucking company, we got Johnson's Equipment, we have some other mini storage, and the audacity to put a mini storage right on the corner of a subdivision. Y'all, please don't. That's our neighborhood, and we love our neighborhood. It was established in 1956. And we are quiet, everybody know everybody. And the thing is, like I'm gonna go back and say, we have enough on Bethany Road. We don't even know what they are.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Again, I want to thank Mr. Jenkins for explaining, but like she was saying, yeah, our streets are constantly getting torn up by heavy equipment, trucks and all that. I mean, the flooding, the homelessness. Our neighborhood is not an expensive neighborhood where you have hundreds of thousands of dollars of houses. And so we feel like a lot of times that's why we get neglected, because of, we try to keep up what we do have. And our value to us is our value. We want it to increase. And I just don't think of warehouses and anything else like that is fixing to help us. So if it's anything that we want to see in there, we want to see something that's going to come in and improve our areas to help all of us, not just to make somebody else a bunch of money and we have our souls to sit by, have to come through every day coming in and out to go home. It's not fair. And I would love, if it's residential, build some houses there and see if we can sell those. But I just don't want to see some more concrete right in my backyard.
Okay, thank you. On the question, all in favor for the question being called, aye?
Second.
Second. On the question, all in favor? Call the roll.
Banks?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're voting on what?
We're voting on the question. Voting on calling the question.
Yes.
Yeah, right, okay.
Vote now.
No more.
Yes.
Glasgow?
Yes.
Chambers?
Yeah.
Foster?
Yes.
Phillips? Pierce?
Yes.
Wallace?
Yes.
White? Yes. And Chairman Clifton?
Yes. Motion passed. On the application as presented, please call the roll.
Banks?
Now, this is for the rezoning, correct?
Right.
No.
Glasgow?
Yes.
Chambers?
No.
Foster?
No.
Phillips? No. Pierce?
No.
Wallace?
No.
White? No. And Chairman Clifton?
Yes. Your application was not approved. You do have the option to go before the city council. If you get an alderman or someone to sponsor it before the city council, they can consider it from the city council level. But this application did not pass today. Nope.
That's correct.
Yes. Okay, number 7, special use case number 2024, a special use to allow a communication tower in a C3 zoning district at 5500 Chiquito Road. Is the applicant here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. My name is Patton Hahn. I'm with the law firm of Baker Donaldson representing Vertical Bridge, which is the applicant for this proposal.
Okay, you were at the site plan review. You've been given a list of things for the site plan review. Do you agree with all those?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? On the application as presented, please call the roll.
Which item are you on, Mr. Chairman?
We are on item 7.
Okay, a special use, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
We postpone items 5 and 6.
No.
They were all looped together on 1701 and 5 Moss.
Right.
So all those are,
So SD 2024-48, RZ 2425, and SU 2411.
Got it, okay. I'm sorry, I did not see that. I just saw item 4.
I didn't either.
I could have probably done a better job, but I was trying.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm on the right page now.
Banks?
Okay.
Yes.
Glasgow?
Yes.
Chambers?
Yes.
Foster?
yes.
Phillips? Pierce?
Yes.
Wallace? Yes. White? and Chairman Clifton.
Yes, your application did pass, and Mr. Spencer, and he can tell you what you may do next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 8, subdivision,
Whoa, whoa,
Mr.
whoa,
Chambers.
wait, you're not through yet.
You got excited there, didn't you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Don't leave before they, if you stay, they can change their mind.
I will endeavor to add an additional 2 minutes to his fee. Item number 8, SD 2024-57, Robert McNutt, Lot 1A, repair and site plan review, replat and site plan review at 5500 Chico Road for a new cell tower. Applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 15 in subsections, and the Design Review Committee recommends approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. This application be approved as submitted. Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Item 9 is SD 2024-58, Ben E. Keith addition, Lot 1, site plan review at 1 Ben E. Keith Drive, Ben E. Keith Way for a parking lot expansion. The applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 9 in subsections. The Design Review Committee recommends approval.
Second.
Is the applicant here for this?
Yes, Chairman, my name is Tim Daters with White Daters and Associates. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. During the site plan review, there were some comments made. Are you familiar with those? Do you agree with them?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any comments from anyone in the audience on this application? Comments from any of the commissioners? On the application as presented, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 10 is SD 2024-59, Dream Big Commercial Lot Addition, Lots 1 and 2, preliminary plat, and at the northwest corner of Maumelle Boulevard and Counts Massey. Applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 10 in subsections, and the Design Review Committee recommends approval.
Second.
Okay.
Again, just if you got any questions, this is a small lot development in part of a larger tract. As we get started on this development, you'll see us again with additional preliminary plats and then some site plans.
Your name for the record on this application.
Yes.
Okay, anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 11 is SD 2024-60, the links at the Rock Commercial Preliminary Plat and Site Plan Review at 12,000 Paul Eels Drive for multifamily development. The applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 12 in subsections, and the Design Review Committee recommends approval.
Second.
Give us your name for the record, please.
Travis Tolley with Craft and Toll, acting on behalf of the developer.
Okay. You have been provided a copy of the comments from the site plan review. Do you agree with those?
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Any comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Item 13 is SD 2024-62, Robert McNutt addition, Lot 1, site plan review at 5520 Chico Road for a new office. Applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 10 in subsections, and the Design Review Committee recommends approval.
Second.
Is the applicant here for this application? Are you coming forward to represent? Okay.
Thomas Pownell with Thomas Engineering, represent the applicant and here for any questions you may have.
Do you agree with all of the comments from the Site Plan Review Committee?
We do.
Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Comments from any of the commissioners? All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you.
Item 14 is SD 2024-63, Midstate Truck Plaza, Lot 1, preliminary plat at the northeast corner of Highway 161 and I-40. The applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 13 in subsections, and the Design Review Committee recommends approval.
second,
Motion made and seconded, this application be approved as submitted. Are you agreeable to all of the comments from the site plan review?
We are, Mr. Clifton.
Any comments from anyone in the audience? Any comments from any of the commissioners?
I just got one question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Banks.
I thought at some point we reviewed an applicant submittal for this same property for a road ranger.
I'm sorry, ask it again, please.
I thought we had reviewed this for a road ranger to be put in there.
I've heard that. I was not aware of it. Staff may be able to help out.
I thought that came to us.
About 5 or 6 years ago, it was with the Holloway firm, and it came through, it was probably a different project, but it was the same property and the same use. And so it expires after a year and a half. So it's already expired, and so they're come back, and this is a new group, but it looks like it looks like the exact same project.
Oh,
so.
okay. I got confused on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
That's why you're paying big bucks. You know?
Any comments from anyone in the audience? Any other comments from any of the commissioners? On the application as presented, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 15, SD 2024-64, Haverty Addition, Lot AR, replat and site plan review at 4220 Landers Road for a new commercial building. Applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 14 in subsections, and the Design Review Committee recommends approval.
second,
Is the applicant here representing?
I'm John Poundell with Thomas Engineering Company to answer any questions.
You have, do you agree with all of the comments from the site plan review?
Yes, sir.
Any comments from anyone in the audience on this application? Comments from any of the commissioners? On the application as presented, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
aye,
Opposed? Thank you. Number 18 on your agenda, conditional use to allow a hotel in a C6 zoning district at 210 East Broadway Street in North Little Rock. Is the applicant here?
Hi, my name is Greg Nabols with Nabols Property, also Broadway Street LLC, which are the developers of this project.
Okay. Do you have some additional information you'd like to share with us on this?
Yes, this is something obviously we have gone through a design review on it, and we know the conditional use is for the parking requirement, of which we did have a, and still working with the owners on getting worked out the off-site parking, which was withdrawn today after talking with the owner, and we hope to get that worked out, come back to get the proper zoning on that at a later date.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Is there anyone, any comments from any of the commissioners? Mr. Foster?
Yeah, you know, I've asked on several occasions, you know, if the two mixed-use buildings are going to be built in the same phase as the hotel, and I think I've received the same answer, that's what the plan is. But you know how plans go. You know, is it planned tomorrow, next week, next year, 10 years from now? So if those buildings are not developed when the hotel opens, what is the plan for those two parcels of land, you know, that were designated for the mixed use? I think there's lots 6A, 6B shown on the site plan. What are the plans for that? Is it going to just be state, a gravel lot?
No. No, we've planned, if we are currently working with a tenant right now to take entire one building, and the other building, if it's not filled, by the time we start, we'll have it as a shell, so that the only thing we have to do is finish out the inside, and that includes the small building on the corner. It will be all built out at the same time. It's not feasible for us to do it otherwise.
Well, my concern is that, you know, those plans fall apart. And, you know, we end up with a gravel parking lot there that I guess you'd use for public parking when there's events at the convention center and at the hotel. And I hate to see both of those developments, which are going to be, you know, first-class developments, and here's a gravel parking lot sitting right between them. You know, I just don't think that's something I think the city would want to see. You know, and also, you know, the Wyndham, when it was developed, and even after it was developed, they provided basically on-site or adjacent parking just across the street from them. Cal Macon, in his development of the Hilton down here, you know, he's got some on-site parking, but he's got off-site parking just across the street. You know, and that's contrast to this development. Their off-site parking is 5 blocks away. You know, I know staff is, you know, voice their concerns, and so is this group here, about the safety of employees and that kind of thing. What I'd like to do is, you know, propose a revision to this condition number 6. Let me pass these out. Pass these on over to Greg. And
Chairman Clifton, while we're doing that, if I may interrupt, I have a question for staff. I know that there has been some things mentioned by Mr. Nabholz about parking and some applications that have been withdrawn or postponed. Could staff please just explain to us, is this in compliance with the ordinance as is? How many spots are we talking about? Because I think that there may be a little bit of confusion as to what there actually is, what there could be. I know I have some myself, so thank you.
So when the agenda was done and everything, there was a PUD for a satellite parking spot or parking lot. That's been withdrawn by the property owner. So now the request before you right now is just this conditional use by itself with no satellite parking. So there's a requirement of, I think it was 113 parking spots, but they're only providing 45. So they're less than half the required parking spots. So what you would be voting on today would be a hotel with 45 parking spots. That's what is in front of you here by itself. Now, there may be some agreements to do that satellite parking lot, but that's not on the agenda today, and that's not part of what you're voting on today. So what you're voting on today, what they're asking for you to, I'm assuming you're asking for a vote today? Yeah, so they're asking for a vote today on a conditional use that's standalone, what you have in your hand here. There's no satellite parking lot associated with it at this time. There might be in the future, but at the point today, there is not. So it'd be a hotel with less than half the required parking spots.
Okay.
well, back to my, you know, kind of recommendation here to modify that condition number 6. You know, that way we have some kind of control or assurances that, you know, something's going to be done with those 2 parcels there, lot 6 and 6A and 6B. And so what I'd like to propose is prior to opening of the hotel for business, one of the 2 following conditions or developments need to happen. The 2 mixed unit pieces of property there, lot 6A and 6B, indicated on the site plan, shall have a significant construction underway when the hotel opens. Or those 2 parcels we just discussed needs to have a parking lot developed on them that meets the city requirements for parking lots. That's the conditions I'd like to add, or actually revise that condition number 6. That was what I just read.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be prudent to add this as an amendment to number 6, add this to that, leave 6 in?
He's asking to delete 6 and add these 2? Okay.
Yes.
You're wanting what?
I want to revise it, or basically delete number 6 and add this in its place.
Okay. Do I hear a second for that?
I'll second it just for the purpose of discussion.
Okay, does, Mr. White?
So my question.
Well, the hotel's a separate, we're working with them, the developers are here in the room, and it would be a transaction of the lot that the hotel buys it's gonna be they're purchasing the lot. And, but we're going to be working together on the building on the corner immediately. It's a small 1,800 square foot building on the corner that addresses the corner. And then again, we've got a tenant to take the entire lot 6A, which leaves us with it's not feasible for us to try to come in and add a building later because we're already going to have the parking lot and everything in place. Plus, one of the things that is related to this project is we're working with, and there's not this, where's the photo of with Rock Region Metro to extend the Junction Bridge Trail from where it starts at Washington. It's going to go all the way to Broadway, and then at Broadway, there's going to be enhanced crossing with flashing lights like you see crossing over to Magnolia. So that's going to, there's been questions about safety of the crossing, and so that was something that we always, had in mind. Plus, having that trail being developed at the same time of having the rest of the project done would require us, to get the foundations put in, because we're going to have streetscape between the two buildings, between 6A, 6B, and the hotel and 6B. So it doesn't, again, make sense. We wouldn't leave a gravel parking lot because, first of all, you couldn't access it because you got the promenade on one side. You would have the trail on the back side. You have Poplar Street, which would be, you couldn't access, you can't drive across the promenade to even get to what would be, the parking lot. So it would have to be where we go in and at least get the building shelled in, or, it's a rough shell, because then we can, it's a lot easier to finish out the inside of the building. But that would be, that's the only feasible way for us to do it. And that's how we're approaching it from the way we're structuring the deal.
Okay.
Greg, do you have any contracts with these people you've talked to about taking the building and leasing part of it or renting it?
Yeah, we got an LOI right now, but where we've been stuck with is that to get this thing going with this one group, because, we've been delayed on getting this done, and they're coming up on a time frame that we got to, move quickly on that. And that's why we want to go ahead and just bring this to the table today, regardless of how it goes. We just got to move forward, especially on the next item, the replat.
Yeah, I understand that, and I'm glad to hear that. It gives me a little more assurances, but I think this is modification, this revision to this conditional use, condition number 6, it just gives us a little more assurances that what your plan is going to be is more than just a plan, but it's going to be actually something that's going to be done there.
Well, yeah.
Okay, Mr. Foster. Is there anyone else that would like to make any comments on Mr. Foster's motion?
Exactly.
We can't, there's not feasible, we're not going to, it's already a gravel parking lot. And, we were able to, Broadway Street LLC, which is, we own 100%, Navajo's Properties does, we were able to buy out our majority partner only 2 years ago. At the time, he had the majority, he only wanted to sell the property. He had, the price was at a price point, it just didn't make sense. So when we finally got, bought the property 2 years ago, we then put our, development plans in motion. And so that's where we are, at this point. So that we're very serious, very committed. We got a hotel that's approved by their flag, and and it's all, can all be coming together, because the hotel's the trigger that makes, with the building that we have, we know that the 1,800 square foot building is an easy deal. It can be built on spec, as well as the other building where we are. I've never heard of that being a precedent, but I mean, the whole point is that if that's what it's going to take, it's our plan anyway. I mean, feasibly,
told
we
us he's
can't
gonna
do
do
it.
it. We
I
need
mean,
some assurances that
feasibly, we
Kobe
could
does.
not leave a gravel parking lot back there, because the building that would be left to be built would be the one that you wouldn't have any access to it.
Chairman.
I mean, we
Okay,
could make it a nice grassy thing if that was the case, but it's still, for the construction, you can't take out the parking lot that you already built to stage all your equipment and stuff to build up a building. We got to have enough of that building built to where you're not disrupting everything.
Ms. Pierce?
My concern is parking. So if you don't get the lots that you were originally thinking about, what's going to happen if you build a hotel and there's no parking lot?
Well, I mean, we can get philosophical on this, but, I've been in Argenta since 2007, and there's nights when you have a sold-out event at Simmons Bank Arena, you've got something going on at Dickey-Stevens Park, and you have other things going on down here, and everybody finds a place to park. But yet, we seem to have, right now, ordinances that, make you plan for all this parking then that you're not necessarily going to use, and so you have all these empty lots everywhere for most of the time. I understand from that there's going to be, there'd be street parking on Poplar Street. You do have, a public lot half a block away that can be used by anybody. You have other parking that is not being used at different times of the day. Hotel parking is obviously a different time frame that other parking is. And you also have to understand, we're being required to provide parking for a hotel that's going to be 100% occupied every night. Now, I think what they're planning, what's the occupancy rate? Typical, 60%? Something like that. That's the occupancy rate. So you got to take that into account.
What was the percentage? 60, okay.
Yeah, so you're having to plan parking for 100% of the, and we've been in contact all day long with the property owner and his representative, and we're gonna have that. We've already got the parking agreement, in place. It's just a matter of getting it satisfied with what they want to do with the zoning versus what was being asked us to do with the PUD.
So the parking permit is still being proposed?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Chambers?
In support of Mr. Foster's amendment, it is a good substitution for a current number 6, which refers to something that doesn't exist. So I prefer to have his amendment in place as opposed to the current one that refers to a lot at 503 Olive Street. So I'm in support of that. And if we vote for the application, that just means we're booting the parking question on to City Council and let them wrestle it out.
Say that again, Don, because I'm having a hard time justifying the project without parking that we require.
I'm just saying, if we vote to support the conditional use as requested and as presented, then what we, the commission, basically are doing is referring the entire question of parking on to City Council and let them figure it out rather than we figure it out. So, that makes sense. I mean, you can boot it on to the City Council. Actually, in my opinion, City Council should have built a parking garage and leased the space.
As the application is right now, there are not enough parking spots.
There is not.
Per the ordinance.
That's correct.
I just want to remind everyone of that.
86 spaces short, yes.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, we are on the motion. So it's your intention for your motion to add number 2 to the bottom of number 6 in our comments?
To substitute.
Strike number 6.
Or strike the
Yes,
whole complete
yes.
number 6
And add,
and just insert number 2
right,
of this?
yes.
Okay, everybody understand the motion?
No, wait a minute.
No, he's saying,
No?
Add,
add the revised condition
add the revised condition, that whole section there.
and take out number 6.
Take out the complete number 6.
Yes,
Is that what you said?
yes, okay, I want to make sure.
Okay, everybody understand what we're doing?
Yes, we're voting on the amendment.
Spencer?
Oh,
Here you go.
Back to the staff.
Okay, on the motion to, in your comments that you've been provided, number 6, we would delete the whole complete number 6. And we would just insert the motion being the revised condition number 6. Insert that in its place. Is that right, Mr. Foster?
Correct.
Okay. Everybody? Okay, on the motion, please call the roll.
Banks,
Yes.
Glasgow,
Yes.
Chambers,
But number 2, there was,
No,
The complete 1 and 2 is what we're adding.
We're amending the conditions.
yeah, but what I was saying is well, I guess this is the first I've read this. Okay, so the number 2, I just have a quick question. It says the 2 parcels indicated as lots 6A and 6B on the site plan shall be developed into parking lot with the maximum number of parking spaces possible.
that's
My
not
point is-
what we're voting on. We're voting on that entire section that starts off revised condition number 6. Then it says, prior to opening a hotel, one of the next 2 needs to be developed.
Okay, we are in the middle of a vote. Please continue.
Chambers,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes?
Phillips. Pierce,
yes.
Wallace. Yes. White, and Chairman Clifton.
Yes, this would be added to the comments and delete the complete number 6 and add the revised number 6 to the comments. Okay, we're back on the application as amended. Okay,
This is item 18, Mr. Chairman.
you're still on item 18.
Remember what Mr. Chambers said, we're recommending board, we're recommending this hopefully to approve, and city council will work on the issue of parking.
Correct.
Okay? So I think we should move it down and let city council decide.
But as our city attorney has so aptly pointed
But she's
out,
going to recommend to the city council.
Mr. Banks?
So if I'm understanding correctly, what's being explained to us is that we would be approving something that we already know don't meet.
Right.
Correct.
Exactly, yes,
If we approve it.
Yes.
Oh,
If we approve it.
yes.
okay.
May I just
Mr. Spencer?
make sure, no matter what, this still goes to city council. So you vote yes or no, it still goes to city council. So if you're, and I want to make sure you aren't misunderstanding, you don't have to vote yes for it to go to city council.
Can we say just defer issue to city
Yeah,
council?
it go, no, but if you wanted to go to city council, we just need a vote today. Yes or no, and it goes to city council. So but it will go with a negative recommendation or a positive recommendation.
That's it, that's
So,
it.
so, but
That's the bottom
if,
line, it'd be-
I didn't want you to think that you had to vote yes
No.
for it to go to city council. I'm just making sure that wasn't
Any
confused.
other comments?
It's just a recommendation.
Just a
We do a
recommendation,
roll
correct.
call on this.
Yes. On the application, please call the roll.
Banks,
Mr. Banks, I've asked for them to change the order for every vote, and they won't do it.
I don't want to change, but I don't want to change my name, so we got to keep it the way it is.
They can call the roll in any order.
They call it not reverse order, right? So,
I'm not that smart.
I'm gonna have to vote no.
Glasgow,
No.
Chambers,
If it was 5 spaces, heck, it could even be 20, but 86, no.
Foster,
No.
Phillips. No. Pierce,
No.
Wallace,
It's too late, I didn't say it.
Yes or no?
You and the fire engine were yes?
Yes.
White
Yes.
and Chairman Clifton.
I would vote no, knowing that this will go to the city council, and I feel like that they will probably approve it. But for our purposes here, we'll have to vote no. Okay?
To make a precedent.
Your application was turned down here. As you well know, you can take it to the city council and send your project to them there. Okay? Thank you.
I think we're up next again, so.
Yes, sir. Item number 19, subdivision. Mr. Chambers?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Design Review Committee met and considered item SD 2024-13, original City of Argento lots 4A, 5A, 6A, and 6B, Block 19, replat and site plan review at 210 East Broadway. The applicant was present, agreed to items 1 through 15 in subsections, and the Design Review Committee recommends approval.
Second.
Motion made and seconded that this be approved as submitted. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this application? Any other comments, Mr. Nabholz?
I was just trying to get the property replatted the way we know we're going to develop it, so.
Comments from any of the commissioners? On the application as presented, please call the roll.
I was ready.
I'm good with that.
Now I'm confused. Okay. Blasco,
Yes.
Foster,
Yes.
Phillips. Pierce,
Yes.
Wallace,
Yes.
White. Chairman Banks,
Yes, don't forget me.
and Chairman Clifton.
Yes, your application did pass. Proceed from there. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Special use case number 23, special use to allow auto sales in a C3 zoning district at 4701 East Broadway. Is the applicant here?
Which item are we on, Mr. Chairman? D3.
Item number 23.
What happened to 22? Oh, it was another one of those combined ones.
Yes.
Okay.
Give us your name for the record, please.
My name is Frederick Moore, with Moore and Sturgis LLC, auto sale.
Okay. Has all the conditions been met?
Yes, sir. He did provide notice.
Have you had any comments from the neighbors?
No, sir.
On this property, this is all linked together under one fence.
Yes, sir.
You've got the little building that you're working on.
Yes, sir.
Then next door, you've got where the car lot part was.
Yes, sir.
All this is together.
Yes, sir.
What I'm seeing here is he is just trying to get the small part where the building is rezoned.
No, sir.
Not rezoned, special use.
Special use, okay.
Mhm.
So but the side next to it, where the car lot part will be, is this C4 right beside of it. So he would be technically, I know the paperwork doesn't say that, but as soon as it were to pass, this commission and the city council, the next day, there would be cars on this number 4. If you'll look on your plats that we're talking about,
The special use will be approved by legal description. So he'll only be able to put the vehicles on the property that is legally described in the legal description.
yes, ma'am, I understand that. But what I'm saying is that whole property is under fenced.
Mm-hmm.
And this building and this little side building off to the side, on the C4 part, all of that C4 part is part of this building's car lot. And whenever and if this gets passed, the next day, that will be included for all of his purposes into this, is what I'm trying to get at. But I understand legally, all he's trying to do is just this one permitted property description.
And I do apologize, but our computer wouldn't connect today, so we couldn't put the visuals up to show larger areas and larger maps.
So, the little plat that he has produced here, he is trying to get onto track 1 and track 2. And it's my understanding from Alderman Robinson that the back part of this track 9 you see here is residential. So if you permit this on the little building here. Yes.
Postpone this? Well, right now, we can only vote on this right now.
So it's just only have cars right here?
Yep.
And there's no parking lot right here, though?
That's
Okay.
not our problem. I mean, that's your concern. So do you want to postpone it?
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So he didn't give us a.
So you're asking to postpone?
Second. Well, hold on. Don't rush the applicant. Let him make his decision.
Well, I think he needs to know if he doesn't postpone it and we vote on it and we vote it down, you're gonna have to wait, what, a year before he can?
That'd be at city council.
Oh.
Because of your recommendations.
Okay.
Get the vote from city council. But right now, we're only voting what's in the yellow.
Right.
Box, and he was proposing the next property, so he gave us the wrong legal description.
Okay. So
There was an error
understanding
somewhere.
now.
So we don't have I would say at this point in time, we don't have a complete application. I think my 2 cents is it's in everyone's best interest to postpone, but it is absolutely your decision, sir.
I'll postpone.
Just call.
Okay? You're asking for a postponement? Okay. All in favor of postponing? Aye? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.
Good luck.
Item number 25, special use to allow an event center in a C3 zoning district at 13509 Crystal Hill Road. Is the applicant here? 13509 Crystal Hill Road, okay. Give us your name for the record, please.
Lois Jones Ross.
Okay. Have you been given a copy of the items to consider?
Yes, sir.
You agree with all those items?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. I assume that she has met all the requirements?
Yes, sir.
Has there been any comments from any of the neighborhood?
Received one phone call, but just for information.
And have you been to the fire marshal's office?
Not yet, sir.
Okay. Is the building sprinkled?
Is it what now?
Does the building have a sprinkler system in it?
Yes, it does have a sprinkler system in it.
Okay, any comments from the commissioners? Mr. Chambers?
Clarification from staff. Under staff summary, last 2 sentences, an event with full capacity. If an event with full capacity taking place and the retail businesses were open, a total of 105 parking spaces would be required to serve the site. As noted, the site plan indicates a total of 80. Does this mean that the project as proposed is 25 spaces short, or relying on timing that an event may not be taking place when the retail's open?
Relying on timing.
On timing, okay, so you're saying there is adequate parking for this development. We just got through saying no to a development that didn't have
Right.
adequate parking.
Yeah, I mean, there is always the potential that that everything would be going full blast at the same time. But it's more of that it would be timing, that there would not be a full-blown event at the same time the retail businesses were open.
Timing is everything.
Always.
Got it.
And just to clarify, from a legal standpoint, the sentence also says 77 parking spaces to be required to meet the minimum requirements, and site plan indicates 80.
Okay. All right. I'm good.
Okay, any comments from the commissioners?
I don't think Mr. Banks has his hand up. He's just scratching.
Any questions on the discrepancy in the parking? On the application as presented, please call the roll.
Banks?
Yes.
Glasgow?
Yes.
Chambers?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Pierce?
Yes.
Wallace?
Yes.
White? And Chairman Clifton.
Yes, your application was approved. See Mr. Spencer, and he can tell you what to do next.
All right. Sounds wonderful. Thank you.
We got a happy customer today.
She had to sit through a planning commission with a whole bunch of negative stuff going on. I could just see you sitting in the back going, they're not in a good mood. They're not in a good mood.
Okay, any public comments?
I have public comments.
Mr. White.
Sorry, you're gonna have to wait a few more minutes. So here's my public comment on parking at a hotel. And not that I travel a whole lot, but I'd say the majority of the hotels I go to, where I drive up in my car, they don't have enough parking places. They have valet parking. You look at the Capitol Hotel in Little Rock, how many times have you seen your car parked somewhere else? That's not, because they don't have enough parking spots. And of course, you can always say they have an agreement with Stevens, but a lot of times your car doesn't go there unless it's valet. So my comment is that I think a lot of these hotels, unless they're totally full and it's a huge event, they're not gonna need all these spots. So I think we need to take that in consideration when we are looking parking, just like on this young lady, we just took in consideration, there is parking right there, but it's not on her property, okay? And that's just my 2 cents. And then I have one other comment that's more, Sean. On these towers that we approve, you know, they build these fences around it, whether they're wood or they're whatever that stuff is they put in the chain link. Are they required to keep that up? Okay. So would that be a code enforcement issue or like at Lakewood Park, for instance? There's a big one up there. It's got a fence around it, hadn't been painted in 100 years. Whose responsibility is that? Is that Lakewood's or is that the people that built the tower?
Visually, I don't know, like if it's a paint issue, I don't think we can say anything. If it's boards are falling down and something, just call us and we'll check the file and see what was required and then contact them to fix it.
Okay, all right, thank you very much.
But if it's visually, you know, the paint's peeling or something, I don't think we don't have anything that goes that detailed on enforcing that.
It just looks horrible. Yeah, okay, thank you. I appreciate y'all's time.
Mr. Chambers?
On the issue of the parking for the hotel, my neighborhood looks at it like a balloon. And if you squeeze it, it's gonna poke out someplace else. And every time it pokes out someplace else, it's always wiping out all the parking in the residential district. Most of the houses in the residential district are on-street parkers. They don't have garages. They don't have access from their alleys. So if you squeeze the balloon and pack a lot of don't provide sufficient parking for the use, those parking spaces have to go somewhere. And they don't always park up and down Magnolia and park up and down Poplar. They come over and park over on 4th and 5th and 6th and Orange and Willow. And the people that live there have to walk 2 blocks to bring their groceries to their house. And that's for a baseball game. So what's going to happen when we have 2 hotels, all surface parking, or the arena and the baseball diamond all going at once, plus any theatrical events, there's just no place to put all the cars on those special days. I'm not saying every day, those special days. But if that's the day you got your turkey dinner coming in, well, you're kind of out of luck.
This same conversation was kind of voiced back when they were talking about Dickey Stevens Field.
Yes,
Yep,
it was.
and we had a parking restriction put in the neighborhood. Unenforced, but it's there.
And so my last comment would be to this. If I'm buying a house or an apartment, I'm not parking on the street. And we require a lot of people to have garages and stuff. So they knew that when they bought that house, that there would be a parking, just like when we come to planning commission. It's hard to find a place to park unless we park over across the street and get run over by that fire truck. Or we park over here in the alley and worry about someone attacking you. So I think
Well, what I tell all my neighbors is go buy you some cones.
I'm not gonna tell you what I told you. And notice my buttons are red.
I was gonna say, I bet you told
Did I
her
hear
where
a
to stick
motion?
that cone.
Make a motion, we can adjourn.
Motion made. All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
advocating to get us a special parking spot?
What?
Are you advocating